What's up, Videolanders?
How we doing?
I'm Brad.
And I'm Seth.
Man, we had a big announcement this week, dude.
Yes, like not even 48 hours ago.
Yeah, we found out what, that Marvel and Sony
have come to an agreement.
Or how I like to say it, they're in bed together.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's pretty exciting news. So Spidey's back in the MCU, man.
Well, he's not back. He's been lended out to the MCU.
Kind of leased, huh? He's rent to own.
Yeah, I guess. It's weird.
Yeah.
It's so strange.
Did we find out exactly what's the rule to that? Is it just an open agreement then? Because I'm sure they're not going to start a huge storyline in, like, say, Civil War, and then Sony pulls the carpet from the rug and be like, you can't use him now. So is there a couple-year deal? What is this?
I don't know all the details. I think what this video is all going to be about is, like, our opinions about this merger altogether, rather than all the actual red tape.
Yeah, to form a better opinion, though, I'd really like to know how long, that lease is, Yeah. But it's very interesting.
Well, I think the whole thing is that Sony's going to be... Sony will be distributing the movies. Marvel will be making them. Sony will be distributing them. So they'll be making more money. I believe that is part of the agreement.
Oh, yeah.
But yes, I don't really... Spider-Man is my favorite. But I don't really care about all this red tape and stuff like that. And, I've got all my Spider-Man garb on here.
You're looking smooth, dude.
Thank you. As smooth as a geek can be, right? But I guess we're going to answer some of your questions.
Yeah, there's actually a post on Facebook that if anybody had any questions or comments, to post them and that we would talk about those.
Yeah.
And they have a lot of the same questions and concern, obviously, that we do about Spidey moving forward and just some really good questions. So, Chris Kronk asked the question, what are your concerns on Sony and Marvel doing movies together? I think we covered that kind of briefly there.
Yeah. Hopefully that it... I guess I wouldn't want what you just said, is like getting the carpet pulled out from under them and just be like, no, you can't use him now. But I imagine that's going
to come out soon enough.
But Sony needs money anyway. We all know that.
I'm going to try to post a picture, within this. But Sam Raimi, Spider-Man 1.
Yeah.
Okay, I think it domestically made $650 million, okay? And it's been a slow decline ever since, okay?
Of Spider-Man films?
Yeah.
Yes.
This last Spider-Man film,
just
take a guess. From $600 million to Amazing Spider-Man 2.
52 million.
Man, that'd be pretty bad.
Yeah, that's something.
Of a decline?
I don't know.
What do you think take home?
No, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
It was $200 million.
Okay.
Which, like in industry terms, if you're not making $1 billion, globally, then your franchise isn't worth much.
Yeah.
They're in it for the big money. If this Spider-Man's one of their biggest... Actually, Spider-Man is Sony's biggest franchise.
Yeah, and I was going to say, Spider-Man is also, like, let's be honest, he's one of the most hoard-out characters in all of, like... his face is on everything.
Yeah,
you got trash cans, you got cardboard cutouts, you got... night lights, you got everything.
Yeah, and that's... let me get into that. That's awesome. There's when your biggest franchise, Sony's biggest franchise is Spider-Man, making $250 million domestically. It's a huge problem.
Yeah,
like they didn't know what to do. They've been talking about his Aunt May doing Aunt May spinoffs.
Yeah,
Sinister Six spinoffs. They don't know what to do with this franchise.
Venom. Yeah, they're like, no, we want to branch it out and do we want to have Venom and we want to have all the villains, and it's just kind of like, guys, what are you?
Yeah.
What are you doing? Just focus.
Exactly.
And the whole thing, too, is don't even get me started on Spider-Man 2, because I think Raimi juggled Spider-Man 3 better than Spider-Man 2 juggled all that crap.
Yeah, I'm a fan of Spider-Man 2.
Amazing Spider-Man 2?
No, that's what
I'm talking about.
Okay.
I'm saying that I think Spider-Man 3
I hate Spider-Man 3,
has better flow than what Amazing Spider-Man 2 has.
I hate Spider-Man 3 as well, but...
I don't hate Spider-Man 3. That's the funny thing.
Real quick.
Yeah.
Desert Island.
Yeah.
Spider-Man 3, Amazing Spider-Man 2. You can only take one film with you, and you have to watch it for the rest of eternity.
Spider-Man 3.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things I have wrong with that film.
Yeah,
I would rather
really, there's like 40 minutes that are bad. The rest of it isn't that bad. That's the whole thing. Is like, it's stupid. That's not what the video is about.
And this is a long way around to your question.
Yes.
But it's like, okay, now with them making only $200 million, $250 million. They need an injection. They need that steroid to pump their film up. And this is like the best. This is the ancient you wash my back, I'll wash yours. You know, and Sony has everything to gain from this. I mean, you're going to bring in Kevin Feige, you know. And
again, Marvel's going to be making these movies. Sony's just going to be distributing them.
Exactly. So. Now, they have Sony has creative control, so that whole, you know, pull the blanket out. If they get a bug up their ass and they want to be like, no, no, it's not going to happen. They can do that. Yeah. So I hope they just, but I don't think they are. They're smart. They're in it for the money.
Yeah, okay? And Marvel, let's be honest, like, Marvel really hasn't, there's been problems with some of the movies, but they really haven't done a bad one yet. Yeah.
No.
So.
Well, Hulk, but that's a whole other story.
Incredible Hulk?
Yeah.
I mean, half that movie's good. You could say that about the first Captain America. Half that movie's good.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about that some other time.
Yeah.
But, so, at the end of the day, Sony and Marvel, they're a business. Yeah. They have to make their money.
Yeah.
Okay? And with them doing this, you know, Marvel owns toy rights, merchandising to Spider-Man. So Marvel, even though they don't own the film rights to Spider-Man, they own everything else. They own comic books,
I was going to say they own
clocks, thermoses, everything.
TV shows.
Yeah, TV shows. Yeah, exactly. So, and man, that's a good idea. So anyway, with Sony jumping in bed with Marvel here, I think that's a great idea. You know, just to have, you know, they're going to be pumping their franchise, that Kevin Feige, that Marvel brand into their movie, that connective tissue. They've already said that Marvel is going to have, you know, other appearances in Spider-Man films. You know, so it's a no-win situation. It's a everybody wins, you know, situation for Sony and Marvel. So I think it's a great idea, as long as they can, you know, stick together.
I just want it to be very fluid feeling. I guess that's the only thing.
Okay, so to answer that question, Sony and Marvel working together. Are you on board? Do you think it can work?
I mean, it's happening no matter what. Yeah. It's whatever. I mean, yes, it's as you said, they're big businesses.
Yep, they're big businesses.
I think that's what comes first.
Yeah, and who doesn't want the Marvel brand? You know, that strategy of filmmaking that they've done
they've
since
almost
2005.
Now.
Yeah.
8.
Eight. Okay. So, you know, bringing that over to Sony.
Yeah.
You have that $200 million. All they want to see is that dollar go up.
Yeah, exactly.
$200 million back to $600 million.
Yeah.
$200 million, $600 million, billion-dollar franchise.
The whole thing too is like adding Spider-Man to things. It's not going to make more people come out. That's the whole thing.
No, but it's gonna. I don't know. Okay. Not on Marvel's side, but it obviously will, because no one's going to see Amazing Spider-Man. You know, for Sony's side, a lot of people are going to come out, especially if you bring Iron Man over to the Sony. You know, even though it'll be now Marvel that's kind of, you know, running that show and producing the Spider-Man movies. Yeah, you know, a lot of people are going to be coming out to Amazing Spider-Man 3 or whatever they call it.
Yeah.
You know, Spider-Man, you know, whatever.
Spectacular Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Web
Superior Spider-Man.
Yeah, something like that. Anyway.
So anyway, hope that I'm excited about it. Those are our concerns, but I think it'll work in the end. So Todd Collard says, why would Spidey be black? This is your forte. Your Spider-Man's your favorite character.
Yeah, he is. I mean, that's such a strange question. I mean, like, because in Ultimates, Miles Morales, he is black.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that would be an interesting choice. But the whole thing too is what I said earlier. I feel like this has to feel fluid, and I feel like people are already going to be kind of against the idea of having. At least I'm kind of against the idea. Marvel's doing fine. They don't need him there. And
who, Miles Morales?
No, Spider-Man altogether.
Oh, Spider-Man in general. Yeah.
And so I feel like that. Not having Peter Parker be in the suit would just start even causing more friction. So, hopefully that kind of answers the question.
Yeah.
Maybe?
So yeah.
But the whole thing, anybody can get bit by that spider.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. Yeah.
So why would Spidey be black?
Yes.
You
Ultimate Spidey.
Ultimate Spidey, or even 2099, right?
He's Hispanic.
Yeah, he's Hispanic. Yeah. So I mean, there's. Yeah,
he's been different ethnicities.
There you go. Yeah. So that's not a big issue. I mean, if they wanted to go that route, there's plenty of material out there to pull from. And always remember, when we're talking about any of this here, Spider-Man, any of these characters here, they're under MCU. Okay, so if you read a graphic novel 2 years ago, and like Age of Ultron, you know, it was I know what general consensus is, it's not a fan favorite from comic book fans, but they're supposedly changing a lot. Winter Soldier, they changed a lot.
Well, I was going to say, Age of Ultron, they just share the name. They have nothing to do with each other.
So, MCU. So, if you're reading something and you're like, well, Spider-Man can't do this.
Yeah.
MCU. It's an open playing field.
Yeah, it's a whole new game because we don't know what they're going to do with it.
Yeah. So, Tyson says, go with Parker and don't make Spidey into a race car trope. And we just kind of covered that a little bit.
Yeah.
I think, no matter what, it's a race car trope.
Yeah.
Because everybody's already talking about Miles Morales. Mm-hmm. They're talking about Peter Parker. Mm-hmm. And hell, I mean, we had a race problem with a black stormtrooper. Yeah. You know, when Force Awakens come out.
I was going to say, matter what, I mean, and so much backlash, too, with Michael B. Jordan playing Johnny Storm, and then who plays Susan Richards.
Yeah, exactly. There's talk about that.
The half-brother and sister, yeah.
So if you go with white Peter Parker... You know, or MCU, man. MCU. They can go with a black Peter Parker if they want to. Yeah. They can do anything they want here. So, yeah.
But I would be kind of sad to see not see Spidey in the red and blue.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, Miles, like, he's got to have the outfit. You know what I mean? It just wouldn't work. Yeah. So, if you're going to go, you got to go all the way.
Yeah,
so,
I agree. Mm-hmm. And so, Chris Kronk, and this, I guess, depends on if you go with a Miles Morales, if you go with a Miguel O'Hara, or if you go with a Peter Parker. But Chris Kronk goes... Gwen or MJ?
For the...
I guess for, the love interest. So let's say it's Peter Parker, and they reboot it. Say they reboot it.
Yeah.
Do you want them to go back to Gwen or MJ? Like, kind of, how Sam Raimi concentrated all on MJ, and then we went to the Amazing Spider-Man, then we got, Gwen, and then, like, we were going to start to get some MJ? That's how it went, right?
Yeah, and that's how it goes in the comics. I guess, you see, that's what's weird, is I don't want them to reboot again. Like, I'm just so over, like, hearing they're saying, it's not going to be an origin story. It has to be an origin story. You can't just, you gotta spoon feed it, or it's not going to feel fluid.
Yeah, I suppose, I've read an article somewhere where Marvel said that they're done making origin stories.
Right.
So we'll see what happens.
Unless, the only thing I can think of is that, so the Chitauri attack in New York in the Avengers, that somehow creates him.
Yeah,
or something along those lines.
Yeah, and we're gonna get to that too, because that's a good question.
Yeah,
but so with the Gwen and MJ, it depends. That's a hard question to answer right now, or even think about, because we don't know where they're going. Especially, there's a lot of rumor.
I grew up with MJ. That's the whole thing.
Yeah, so did I.
I was gonna say that's our age though.
Yeah.
That's
who would you take out to the prom?
Who? Mary Jane or Gwen Stacy?
Yeah.
Well. Is it just strictly comic book, or am I taking out Emma Stone and Kirsten Dunst?
Ooh, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I want to be that guy hanging upside down, giving the kiss in the rain.
Well, you see, I think I'd rather be kissing Emma Stone. Gwen.
Okay, let's keep it. Gwen?
Yeah,
okay.
Gwen. Sure.
I'm going MJ just because MJ I grew up with. Yeah. And that whole scene where it's raining.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. That's
What?
I got you.
So, yeah, I'm going to go Gwen. But, it depends on where they set this, too, because there's a lot of rumor going right now that...
He's going to be back in high school?
What do you think about that? Are you a supporter of them casting, like a Jaden Smith?
That's how it should be. No, but don't pick him.
Don't cast Jaden Smith. I think Todd Collins said something about he heard a Jaden Smith.
No.
And that's out there.
That's silly.
But if they... Yeah, Marvel, I hope Marvel's smarter than that, because Jaden Smith is a
I like
ass.
The idea of him being in... I like him being in high school and, doing... Because that's what I like about Spider-Man. He has real-world problems.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. So...
And I think it would be a good dynamic for the Avengers, too, if they get young, but I don't want that young.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't want 15.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't mind if Spider-Man is the youngest Avenger. I'd actually support that.
Yeah.
But
at the same time, it's just hard for everybody to... I guess relate when he's that young. 18, 19, everybody can relate with that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I guess I wouldn't mind seeing four Spider-Man movies as the 4 different years of high school or whatever. At least they
let him grow within the franchise, because you got to say all these Marvel movies have been since 2008.
Yeah.
And so 2016.
It's gonna be, when it's all said and done, they claim it's going to be 20 years of Marvel.
Yeah, so I want a character that I can grow with.
Yeah.
But I think we can even get a 20-year-old too. But then again, we'll get on that.
Garfield's older than me, which is crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So,
because I think that I'm pushing the limit to even play Spider-Man.
Yeah. So, exactly.
Yeah.
But Andrew Garfield.
Marvel. By the way, Marvel. I look good in the...
I can be Morales. You can be Parker.
Yes.
As long as they don't make us kiss in the rain.
No.
But, so Todd says, will Iron Man mentor Spidey and hide him from Fury? You want the first part? I'll go the second?
Sure.
Okay.
Maybe a little bit of that, father-son.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time... You see, everyone always talks about how much they loved Civil War. But the whole thing too is that Civil War was the thing that I feel like is part of Marvel's downfall. Is that's the thing that started the book wide event, or like the universe wide events. You had Civil War, which led into Secret Invasion, which led into Dark Reign, which led into Siege, which led in. They just keep going and going and going.
And did you like Civil War?
Civil War is good.
Yeah, I like Civil War. And real quick, a shout out to Ricky. Ricky actually loaned me a bunch of Civil War, about 5-6 years ago. And I just sat there and read them all. I loved it. I fell in love with the Civil War, storyline.
It's a neat idea. I will give it that. And the Spider-Man arc is very important in it, and I could maybe see that
because it's been a while. But he starts off with Iron Man because Iron Man talks him into taking off his mask.
The whole thing is that he basically gets Spider-Man to join the registration. And then he kind of pressures him into taking off his mask in front of everybody.
Okay. And so then he goes over to Captain America's side.
Then the whole thing is he realizes that registration isn't all that it's cut out to be. That Iron Man's doing a lot of kind of not so heroic things.
And I hope they get into some of that, man. I really want them to
see the bad,
to split us. Where you kind of see both sides of Captain America. I really want to be at the end of the day. I want to be at theater and be like,
I was going to say, I love that picture. I love that picture of the skull with the Captain America mask on it, and it just says Tony was right.
Yeah.
Where it's just kind of like, this is just tough. Both sides of the coin are important.
Yep.
And that's why we read these books. That's why we're into this.
So if you could to just add something to that question, if you don't think Iron Man, choose. This is just you geeking out, okay?
Yeah.
Who would you want to mentor Spider-Man?
Well, I feel like that's the whole thing is that everybody kind of mentors him because one of my favorite parts in Civil War is Iron Man Cap is fighting Spider-Man, and then all of a sudden Cap's like, and then he threw it at, Spidey's inner monologue. He's like, and then he threw it at me, the symbol of America coming right at my face, and because he threw a shield at him, but he just throws it and then throws it back. He's got these kind of like Doc Ock arms. He just grabs it and then throws it over and webs it all up. And then they're still fighting, and then all of a sudden there's like an explosion and people need help, and Cap's like, I've got to go.
Yeah.
I'm going to go do this. And Spidey sits there and he protects the shield until Cap comes back and gets it. And then, I don't know, I feel like that Spidey can grow from both sides.
Yeah.
But yes, I feel like everybody needs to get mentored by Captain America.
Yeah, I think so too, yeah.
It's more so than Tony Stark. Tony Stark's not a hero. He is, but he isn't. It's hard, it's tough.
And you know what I'm sorry.
You're fine.
Okay.
That's the whole thing. Cap is he's like Superman. He is the hero.
I agree. You know what's something I would love to see, just to add my 2 cents to this, is Spider-Man is such a huge character that I don't see them doing this, but you know how they have the Netflix original series, and then they have the big Avengers blockbusters. I would love to see Spider-Man be that middle ground who's kind of bouncing back. He's too good. He's too good. Like, he's not dark enough for Daredevil, Punisher, all that. But he jumps in and helps. Like, one of my favorite comics was where Daredevil, Hulk, and Spider-Man were kind of working together. A lot of early Mark Waid writings, and but he never fit in like a Hell's Kitchen area.
Yeah, exactly.
But he's kind of too much on his own to depend on Thor and everybody else. He's kind of his own man sometimes, don't you think? You're the Spider-Man aficionado here. Wouldn't you say?
I would say so. Yeah. Okay. He's not too if
you call him the odd man out.
A little bit, yeah. But that's the whole
the charm of him.
That's what's cool about him, because the whole thing with Spidey is if he has the confidence to beat you, he will beat you.
Yeah.
Yeah. He always gets beat once, and then he figures out how to beat you, and then he comes back and hits you harder and everything.
So I doubt we'll see it, but I would like to see Spider-Man mentored from the streets of the original series on Netflix. Daredevil.
Why couldn't he be on S.H.I.E.L.D.?
Who, Parker?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's MCU, and I don't know
how cool would that be?
Yeah, that would be cool.
Shows up on S.H.I.E.L.D., ends up getting bit somehow on S.H.I.E.L.D.
He is a brilliant dude. How about him working for AIM?
Okay, that would be cool.
That'd be cool too,
huh? And that's another thing, this is another can of worms. Anyway, let's go.
Okay. So, but the Fury section, this is real quick.
Yeah.
Fury knows all. Shield is big, and it depends on when this series has taken place or this new.
Maybe Spider-Man will be a meta. Maybe he'll show up from Hydra. That's another random.
Yeah, that'd be interesting, wouldn't it? Well, a lot of when you're talking, I gotta always.
Spider-Man technically is a mutation.
Yeah.
It's just not a one you're born.
And it depends on where they insert Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Because is it pre New York Avengers or is it post? When Shield is torn down,
and with the
Captain America.
I imagine the Chitauri scepter is going to come into play with this. Yeah.
So Fury, if Shield's still intact, they know about Spider-Man.
Yeah. Maybe.
I think they do. That's just me talking. But post Winter Soldier, maybe not.
Yeah.
You could probably sneak through the cracks. So just my 2 cents. Brandon and Todd say Michael B. Jordan for Spider-Man if they do a Miles Morales or I guess a African American Spider-Man.
You want to take this?
Yeah, I'm just gonna hit this real quick. Michael B. Jordan is already Johnny Storm, which
and at Fox now.
At Fox,
which they're already setting up sequels.
Yeah,
already,
and that's another Marvel owned property. When it comes to comic books, merchandise, things like that. And if we ever do get in bed with Fox, which is going to be trickier than Sony, but if we ever get into bed with Fox, then it's going to be hard for Michael B. Jordan to play Johnny Storm and to play Spider-Man. And he's too busy with Creed and everything else. So, I mean, if he wasn't already cast, I don't think he looks like Spider-Man either.
Yeah.
I don't think he
The
looks...
whole thing, too, is you got to be this special kind of nerdy.
Like or Donald Glover.
But that's... Yes, but he can also be smooth if need be.
I think Donald Glover would be a great Spider-Man.
Yeah. I do think that he would be good.
But did he miss his train? Did he miss his boat?
I don't know.
Because he's 31 now.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's the whole thing, is I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
It's one thing I do that I didn't care for with Andrew Garfield, is that he was too smooth. He was so smooth. And it's just dude, Peter Parker, he's smooth, but he's dorky at the same time. That's the whole thing. That's one thing Tobey did good. Yeah, and I gotta say this with Andrew Garfield. Andrew Garfield, I didn't like him as Peter Parker. Yeah. But I loved him as Spider-Man. I was watching a trailer before we started this show of Amazing Spider-Man 2. My only weakness, knives. Yeah, I know. He has that chemistry, that fun. And if you haven't seen it, check out on YouTube of Andrew Garfield going to Comic-Con. Yes. And dressed up in the most horrible, cheesy cheesiest Spider-Man suit. He's geeking out. And I really hate seeing someone get cut from a franchise who's so into the role and he geeks out on Spider-Man. And that's going to be unfortunate if we do lose Andrew Garfield. Because I think Andrew Garfield... he didn't do anything wrong. Yeah, and that Spider-Man there, could you see him in the Avengers, this current Avengers? Yeah. Yeah, so could I. So... I really do want to see Andrew Garfield back, but man, it's so tricky. And the whole thing too is is this guy going to be mopey because he lost his girlfriend? Yeah, and he just fought the Rhino apparently, but we didn't get to see the fight. Yeah, and exactly. And I think those films really hurt Andrew Garfield from joining this because I would like to see Andrew Garfield, Yeah. But if I have to lose either an Andrew Garfield or possibly later on down the road a Hugh Jackman, I lose Andrew Garfield in a minute. They can't recast Hugh Jackman if we ever get him. Yeah. But anyway, so I say I don't know. I want to see him back, but I don't think it's gonna work. No, I got you. So anyway, Kronk is curious on the villain of Spidey, the next Spidey film. Where do you go from here? If you say it's a reboot, say it's a soft reboot. You go Goblin. You go Goblin again? You have to. That's the whole thing. And that's what sucks, man. Why? Why is that? Do it right. That's the whole thing. Do it right. Yeah. That's the whole thing. You could do it right. And that's another thing. Everyone always says that oh man, Spider-Man has an awesome rogues gallery. No, he doesn't. Actually, here, I'm going to say this. This is some weird joke. If I could reboot it, I cast Christopher Walken as Mysterio. Really? Yes. Wow. Spider-Man, don't break my globe. It's so perfect. Mysterio, master of illusion. I would like to see a Mysterio. I would love to see a Mysterio. That'd be cool. Yeah. Not really Christopher Walken. I'm sorry for my terrible impression. But you meant Samuel Jackson. No. But Michael B. Jordan? Yes, sure. I was going to say, yes. But yes, I would like to see Mysterio. That'd be pretty cool. Okay. Yeah, I don't even know. I'm so burnt out on a lot of these villains. I would have said Venom. I would have been the Venom. Don't be that guy, Brad. No. I said I would have been on the Venom bandwagon if you would have asked me Spider-Man 3. I would have been on the Venom bandwagon if I was 8.
Yeah.
Like, that's the whole thing. Venom's such a chode.
You sound so like Sam Raimi right now.
He's a chode. Like, that's the whole thing.
What about Sandman? That guy's a chode. So is Vulture.
Vulture is a chode.
Yeah. There's too many chodes.
There is. Oh,
what about Carnage? Chris Kronk brought up Carnage.
Oh.
He also brought up turning Gwen Stacy into Carnage.
I would just... Who is this?
But I guess that's
no.
In
this
this
is
defense, that's an ultimate.
No,
that's an ultimate.
That's an ultimate story. Yeah. But here's the other.
I don't want that. That's too crazy.
No, but here's the other.
Too crazy, too fast.
Yes, you could do the whole thing too with Carnage is just like what books he had that's good.
Yeah.
Everyone's always like, "What about Maximum Carnage, Seth?" Guys, that was 14 issues long. That was an entire flipping year.
Yeah.
That was a year of my life.
Yeah.
And the story wasn't that good. Yeah. Like,
which brings me back to, all these villains that we've already seen.
Yeah.
A lot of douchebag villains.
Yeah.
Maybe it's time that we change Spider-Mans for a while.
Yeah.
Maybe it's time we go Miles Morales and get some new
villains. But what's that
going to
change? What's that going to change?
It's going to change a whole new storyline, a whole new origin.
Not really. He still has Peter Parker's villains.
Yeah, to a certain extent. I mean, he has some of his own too, but he also has to deal. I think the concoction that actually bites him and everything was actually taken from. Wasn't it Doc Ock or Osborn?
I can't
remember.
That's Ultimate Peter. Okay. I don't know that much about Miles.
Yeah, so we'll skip past that real quick. But so Keegan says, I don't know what villain I want. I'm so kind of burnt out on villains, man. Yeah. The last two...
Gigi's my favorite. Gigi's the ultimate villain, in my opinion.
Yeah.
He's the yin to Spider-Man's yang. He's not a carbon copy like Venom. That's what I like about him. He also did the work and figured out Peter Parker's secret identity. And he killed Gwen Stacy.
Okay.
It's so important.
Wasn't it Bruce Campbell? You know Bruce Campbell, right?
Yes.
Wasn't it Bruce Campbell that was going to be playing Mysterio if he ever did a Spider-Man?
Yes.
Bring Mysterio. Bring back Bruce Campbell as Mysterio.
Christopher Walken.
But no, because you know how they had those cameos of Bruce Willis, tying, tie your shoes, and all that? Dude, if they were building him up as Mysterio, and since we're on this, we might as well talk about it.
Yeah.
Tobey Maguire.
What about him?
Do you bring him back?
I think it'd be cool if
hypothetically.
They did. What if they did? How sweet would that be? He's like an older S.H.I.E.L.D. agent. He's been just living under the... He's been living under the radar his whole life.
I like it, dude.
Yeah,
I like
cool.
It. Listen to this, okay?
Because here's another thing. Spider-Man's old during Civil War.
Yeah.
He's really old during Civil War.
And they already screwed up the storyline about Peter Parker's parents being killed by the Red Skull in Amazing Spider-Man. So, what if he finds... Well, they kind of did that, too. And, because it's been too long since I've seen it.
Yeah.
But if you have Tobey Maguire, man, going underneath the radar, he's a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent, he comes back out of kind of retirement.
Yeah.
Dude, that's awesome. You can bring back Jameson.
Yes.
Oh, man. Well, J.K. Simmons is, And then, okay, Tobey, you owe us one. Because of Spider-Man 3.
It's not... That wasn't his fault.
No, it wasn't his fault, but he needs to come back and reclaim
Spider-Man.
what was taken from him.
Yes.
Give us a Spider-Man 4.
Because everyone's like, oh my gosh, Spider-Man's old, or Tobey Maguire's too old. CG Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And here's the other... Everyone's all like, oh, but Andrew Garfield, he's so quippy and everything. Part of that was the script.
Yeah.
Tobey Maguire could have been quippy and good if that Spider-Man joked.
And everything could be written in the script. You bring Tobey Maguire back, and like you said, he's kind of just that S.H.I.E.L.D. agent.
Yeah, you put him on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
And then, he gets...
Well, he won't be on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. There's no way they're going to... Yeah.
Why not?
I just don't...
What's Tobey Maguire doing?
I don't care what he's doing, but he should never go to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Okay.
I don't care if he's eating fries at McDonald's. If Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. call him, he should say, dude, your show sucks. How about you give me, I don't know, a time machine and send me to Agent Carter.
Okay.
I don't know, man.
Okay.
I don't like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. That's just me.
Well, whatever.
But I like where you're going. I like the idea of him being a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent.
Yeah.
I think that's
awesome.
Or a
Hydra operative or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, something. I mean, but I think they could definitely work Tobey Maguire and give us that Spider-Man 4 that we never had, bring in some older characters, and I think it would work brilliantly. Yeah. It's not going to happen. It's hypothetical. I really don't see it happening.
No, it's not going to happen.
But I think it's fun to talk about. Yeah. I would live in that world.
And I'm sorry, I think that's cooler than having Miles Morales as Spider-Man.
Man, I think it's almost tied, but yeah, I think it's
almost a tie.
Yeah, it's almost a tie because I'll get into my 3 at the end here. The 3 ways I think they could bring Spider-Man back, and I was really thinking about it. So we also have let's see, we have Keegan. Why would Spidey sit around and do nothing while all hell broke out in New York City? So that's a question that's going around the internet right now.
What if he hasn't been around this whole time? What if
the
Chitauri Scepter caused his his change.
His mutation?
His mutation. What if they went at that?
It'd be an interesting route to go.
Or, what if he... Because, what if something from New York, or what if it was like Malekith from Thor the Dark World, something, he's exposed to something. And then that's what changes him.
That's how you could also bring Venom into it as well.
Yeah.
If you wanted to later down the road, you know? That's interesting. But, I think, I go with that.
Get off your Venom trip.
Yeah, this is the case. This is MCU. Again. So, Spider-Man might not have been around yet, so give us a couple years. Yeah. It's been 5 years, 4 years since New York by the time Civil War comes around.
What?
No, since by the time Civil War comes around, it'll be 4-year storyline. Because from Avengers to... it's been about 4 or 5 years.
But we don't know how much time has actually passed in the Marvel world, though.
Because they dropped some lines to it.
Like 6 months or something like that in Iron Man 3.
From Iron Man 3 to... but we've had Iron Man 3, we've had Thor Dark World, we've had Guardians of the Galaxy,
but all that
shit's Ant-Man,
all that stuff's happening at the same time, though. Because, the Marvel movies are all happening, within the same time.
I'll post a timeline, but I'm pretty sure that, because Avengers 2 and Avengers 1, how long has that been?
I don't know.
A couple years, I think. 2 years?
Maybe.
Something like that. Yeah. And then Civil War, I think, is another year. So let's call it 3 years. Mm-hmm. That's a long time for Spider-Man to exist. Be under the radar. Yeah. Hone his powers and become Spider-Man. Mm-hmm. The question I have is, what was he doing during Age of Ultron? If he's not in that. Mm-hmm. So, which they have the rights to him. That'd be nice to have a tag at the end.
I would love...
swinging by.
Well, I would love even, if you had an Andrew Garfield, if it's it shows... Even in Civil War, because what I want is a super slow burn. I don't want this to just be like, hey, we got Spider-Man, just put him everywhere. Yeah. You got Tony Stark on TV, and he's like, I've been Iron Man. We need to all register. And then you see Andrew Garfield, and he looks over at his mask, and he's looking back at the TV, and that's all you see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want that?
I would like something like that.
I was going to save all this for closings, but we might as well talk about this now. How do you want Spider-Man to show up? What's the first film you want him to show up in?
That's the whole thing, too.
Do you want Civil War?
Sure.
Or do you want him swinging by an Ultron?
I don't want him swinging by an Ultron.
Okay, unless he's like
Ant-Man? Unless he's maybe saving somebody. I can see him in Ant-Man. Unless I want...
See a spider, how you found Thor's hammer in the quarry?
Yes.
The equivalent to that scene?
But that's the whole thing is I want him already I would love Age of Ultron, Ultron people or Ultron robots are gonna kill all these civilians. All of a sudden, they get pulled back or whatever, and then you see cool. And then he jumps at all of them. That's all you see. Is whoa, what was going on there? Yeah, cool. And that's all you see. Yeah, you get the silhouette of someone maybe he's not even in the suit or whatever. You see this kid, and you never get a good shot of his face or whatever. But
yeah, no, I like that. I think Civil War.
Yeah,
there's 3 ways. I'm going to try to be real brief here, okay? Yeah. The first way, I think it could work, and this has never been done cinematically.
Okay.
Okay, you're going to have to take some notes from J.J. Abrams, okay, and do the whole mystery box. What if, underneath the radar, they could cast our new Spider-Man? Okay?
Okay.
We don't know who it is. They keep it top secret who this new Spider-Man is. It's going to be hard.
Yeah.
Okay? And when that scene comes up in Civil War where he has to unmask... Yeah. Just like the comics where all those people didn't know who Spider-Man was, that he was Peter Parker for the first time. When he pulls his mask back, that's when we learn who it is.
That would be cool. But I want to see Black Panther in that role, though. I don't want to see him having that big of a deal.
Yeah.
Yes, that fast. I like the changes that they have made to these classic stories. Because everyone's all it has to be Spider-Man. No, it doesn't. I mean, the Captain America Winter Soldier, they made that story up. And they kind of just sprinkled Winter Soldier in there. And they didn't even talk about how he's Russian.
Yeah.
It's Winter Soldier.
And don't forget, guys. Yeah, don't forget. This is MCU. Yeah. Man. This is comic books. We have talking raccoons.
Yeah.
We have God of Thunder.
Yeah.
So why can't we have our cake and eat it too? There could be a Miles Morales and there could be a Peter Parker. Eventually, they're going to get into alternate timelines. That's just a given.
Yeah.
So I say we eventually we will get it. But check this out. This is the other idea I had. Okay. What if we do get our Andrew Garfield? He's been a good Spider-Man, so he's been a great fan. Why not give him the proper send-off? How about...
He gets killed.
How about they bring him in Civil War?
Yeah.
Okay? He pulls his mask off. We see that it's Andrew Garfield, no surprise.
Yeah.
Okay? He goes back, he survives all that. He goes back to his own franchise. Okay? we get the death of Spider-Man. And then we're going to be beating the death of Superman.
Yeah.
Because they're going to do the whole Doomsday thing eventually. Mm-hmm. So let's beat them to the punch.
Yeah.
Let's do the death of Spider-Man. Mm-hmm. And then at that same time, Miles Morales comes into the picture.
Yeah.
And takes over for Peter Parker.
Okay.
I think that'd be interesting. And then check this out. You know how the big reveal in Civil War?
Yeah.
That's Peter Parker?
Mm-hmm.
We're going to have a new Spider-Man that nobody knows his identity. I think it would work brilliant.
Okay. I was going to say, you can get tricky, too, with, like, reality gems and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly.
We haven't seen what these Infinity Stones can do, so maybe it could tear a hole open in something, and Spider-Man just kind of shows up.
And there's a small spinoff, check out on Wikipedia, called Spider-Men, where Miles Morales and Peter Parker were running together.
Yes.
So there's all kinds of things they can do, man. Who do you want? Do you want to add anything to that? Okay, who do you want cast as Spider-Man?
I don't know.
Do you have any ideas? Danny, you want Donald Glover?
Well, I mean, if he's going to be Miles, yes.
You want Donald Glover?
Yeah.
Okay. I have not, I was Googling this today. Mm-hmm. I actually put it on Tumblr as well. I seen it in one site. No one else is talking about this, and it's blowing my mind. Mm-hmm. Everybody's saying, go with the Donald Glover. He's 31, and there's a lot of rumor pointing towards this younger Spider-Man, 15-year-old high school, somewhere like that. So I think Donald Glover would have made an amazing Spider-Man. He has that geekiness to him. He's got that fun, that vibe. Mm-hmm. But I think he might have missed his train. He's 31.
Yeah.
So I was looking at some other African-Americans, in that age range that could pull it off. There's an African-American dude that's coming out with a huge movie at Christmas time. He's an awesome actor. I always tell you guys to check out the movie Attack the Block. Mm-hmm. His name is John Boyega.
Yeah.
He's 22 years old, okay? He's the Black Stormtrooper in Force Awakens. Yeah. Okay? I think that dude could pull off Spider-Man. Who wouldn't want to bring a Star Wars,
But would you really want to try and cross things over, though?
No, not crossover.
No. But I'm just saying that, I wouldn't want something to get in the way of something else. You know what I mean? Yes, it's all Marvel Studios and everything, but still, it's Star Wars and Marvel.
Oh, at the end of the day, it's all big business. Yeah, he's going to be a Stormtrooper in this. He's going to be Spider-Man in this. We got jumping around all the time.
But I'm just saying
Solo, Indiana Jones. Han Solo.
But I just wouldn't have. I wouldn't want any problems with production and stuff like that. We got to film this, but then you also have to film this, and it's we got to, I don't want to throw any time track.
You mean for his busy schedule?
Yeah.
I don't think so because he's not doing spin-offs. Supposedly, he's just doing this Force Awakens and then 7 and 8.
Okay.
Because most people can fit 2-3 movies in a year.
Well, what makes me mad too is the fact that that they've already started moving Marvel's plans around. We got to make a Spider-Man film, and that just bugs me too. Because they had a plan, and they were doing something good, and it's just.
But I think there's room to move that plan for someone big like Spider-Man.
Oh, you want 3 movies a year anyway.
Yeah, I do. I really do. So. But okay, can I just sell this to you real quick?
Sell me.
Okay, Force Awakens trailer, right? You know how Stormtrooper pops up?
Yeah.
He's like, there's been a disturbance in the Force, or can you feel it? Mm-hmm. Avengers 5 trailer. Okay. You see battle-torn Spider-Man, with his mask off, okay? Opening teaser.
Same idea.
It's John Boyega in a Spider-Man suit, without the mask,
Yeah.
And then you see Captain America running, fade to black. You see Scarlet Witch, you see Samuel L. Jackson on a motorcycle. You see a new version of the Hellcarrier in the sky, and then you see the Hulk walking through a forest. I don't know. It sounds badass.
Okay.
I don't know.
Maybe.
John Boyega as Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I'm going to post this picture, dude. I'm going to post it.
Yeah?
John Boyega.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
All right.
Okay, and who do you say?
I don't know.
Not on the bus yet? Wait and see.
Guys, I mean...
Don't go Hunger Games on me, though.
Yeah.
I hear everybody saying, well, he's got to be young. I don't give... I don't care. I don't care about Hunger Games, Maze Runner, Divergent, Invergent, Subvergent, Divergent, whatever. I don't know. I don't care. I'm sure there's some good actors there. I'm not going to, whatever there. But come on.
I gotcha.
I don't want... Harry Potter. And I've seen Harry Potter out there. Yeah. Everybody's like, let's make what's his name?
Daniel Radcliffe.
Yeah, Daniel Radcliffe is Spider-Man. So I don't know, but there's all kinds of things they can do. It's wide open. So man, it's gonna be cool. I think they can add a lot to it. So I only have 2 more questions. I think, unless there's anything else that you want to say.
No, nothing really.
Okay, Keegan, he would like to see Tony Stark design suit.
Oh, this, the Iron Spider suit. Could be cool. I mean, I feel like that would need... That's that slow burn.
Yep,
that's
slow
the
burn.
whole thing. They can't just drop that on us.
Take it slow.
That's the whole thing. I mean, like, don't get me wrong. I like this fight. Everyone hated it, but I think that thing's sweet.
It's functional.
Yeah.
You know, I think
the whole thing, it can look like whatever he needs it to. I mean, it has camo. It can fly. I mean, he already shoots webs. It has those 3 arms in the back, and that makes him like, oh my gosh, like Spider-Man already. I want to see a movie where they really show how deadly Spider-Man can be.
Yeah.
And giving him those arms on his back, now he has a 6-foot range on his on his punches and stuff like that. Like, he's even scarier now because he's already really, really fast, and he has precognition essentially with his spider sense.
Yeah.
So it's just, I want to see that, and we got a little bit of that
and it's totally functional. I would love to see that in a Spider-Man 5 underneath the Marvel banner.
Yeah.
But right now, let's get back to the basics.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think the best. You know, we've brought up the Tobey Maguire. We've brought up, having Miles, Morales. We've brought up
Andrew Garfield.
But you know what? I bet you anything. Marvel's best bet here, and I bet this is what they do. Amazing Spider-Man 2 made $200 million.
Yeah.
250. It's time to
phase it all
soft reboot.
Yeah.
You bring in this new Spider-Man, a young Spider-Man. And you start off with his parents being, agent operatives.
You know what you could...
for S.H.I.E.L.D. You bring in Red Skull, because he's still floating around out there, hopefully, somewhere in space. And it just works. It's the best thing, probably, is just to cast a new actor, merge it with this Marvel universe.
Well, what you do is you do his origin story in the opening credits, like they did with Incredible Hulk.
Yeah, and we've seen his origin story.
Yeah.
We haven't seen his origin story. Not with connected to S.H.I.E.L.D. and his parents being killed by Red Skull. There's a whole awesome origin story there.
It's kind of awesome.
Yeah, I like it.
I'm sorry.
It's freaking sweet.
I just don't like things being changed much later. It's like, oh, well, Richard and Mary Parker, they were S.H.I.E.L.D. agents. Like, that was something way later. Yeah. And that's the whole...
Again, MCU.
Yeah.
So we could start off right away with them agents, and he's going to high school.
Yeah.
And they were killed in New York.
Yeah.
He's going off to foster care or something,
Yeah, living with Uncle Ben.
Hard telling. They can do anything. Yeah. So I'm excited. I think this is going to work. To end this episode here, man...
Do we have any more questions, or are we done?
No, that's all the questions. Did you want to add anything? I'm sure you got something cooking.
I mean,
You're a big Spider-Man.
I am. I mean, just, again, I can't iterate enough that I would want it to just be a very slow burn. And
I agree with that.
I'm sad because, again, I'm afraid that it's going to take away from other stuff in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing, is I don't... And Spidey's my boy. Don't get me wrong. But... I really like the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and I don't want them to mess with it.
I think it's a natural fit. I've been talking about this for a year or two, man. Since
Amazing Spider-Man 1, probably. Seeing him with all the...
Yeah, I've been wanting to see this for a while. And I think it's a natural fit, man. It's not the same without Spider-Man, so I'm thrilled that they worked out a deal. And if you notice my shirt here, man, you got Hulk, Spidey, Captain America, man. But you also got, you got Thor down here. And you got Wolverine. Bring Wolverine home. Bring Wolvie back. Dude, I want to see... And you hear Hugh Jackman's doing promos right now for Chappie?
Yeah.
And he was like, man, I would love... He's a geek, too.
He's always said that, though.
Yeah, he's always said that.
He said that he wants his last movie to be with Spider-Man, Iron Man. That movie won't make any more money, Brad.
I don't care.
It won't.
I don't know. No, there's only so much money you can make after you make your billion.
Yeah.
Okay? Unless they take Wolverine to Sony. Again, that $200 million. I mean, if you're Marvel over here making $1 billion, and you're Sony over here making $200 million, you'd be like, let's send Wolverine over here so we can get some more money.
Yeah.
That's going to happen. But, man, I want to see Wolverine come back because I don't care if it makes more money.
Yeah.
I'm talking as a fanboy.
Yeah.
I want to see a Hulk and Wolverine. Not just any Wolverine, because Hugh Jackman said today, he's like, I'm sure Fox and Marvel will work it out.
Yeah.
But it'll probably be past my day. And he's Wolverine, man.
Yeah.
And I want to see him back. And if you guys don't know anything about Fox, I'm just going to hit this real quick. I don't know if you know this, but Sony and Marvel get along. Fox and Sony, there's a big deal there.
Fox and Marvel?
Yeah, I'm sorry, Fox and Marvel. Have you heard about all that?
Oh, it's horrible. I mean,
my God.
They killed the Fantastic Four in the comics.
Yeah.
No new characters will be introduced in
X-Men. Yeah.
None.
Just because Fox has the rights, and if they create new characters, they have the rights to make them into movies. So they pull Fantastic Four off the shelf.
Yep.
They're not making any new X-Men characters.
They killed Wolverine in the comics. They killed Deadpool.
Man.
Yeah. I mean, they're trying to just cut them out from under them.
And they have so much money that, I don't know if you noticed, but during Days of Future Past, there was no toys. There was no T-shirts. There was no thermoses, clocks, because Marvel, they took a cut on their end and was like, we're not going to support your movie with merchandise. You know, so there's a huge pissing test going on there, you know, and
it's sad.
I don't know. They're bringing out the rulers.
Yeah.
See who's biggest, and they're both losing, in my opinion.
It's
and I want Reed Richards back, man. I want Reed Richards to send Hulk to, you know, whatever planet that is, and World War Hulk.
Yeah.
You know, because it was Tony Stark. It was Tony Stark and Reed Richards.
It's the Illuminati, yeah.
Yeah, and again, it's MCU. We can change that around. But I bring back Wolverine now. Bring back Wolverine. I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm pumped.
Yeah.
We get these guys back.
Yeah.
So, man, this is the longest episode we've ever done, but I think there's a lot of information there.
Yes.
We can still talk for probably another hour about this.
Yes, and I'm sorry that I'm being a stick in the mud, guys, but I just wanted this to be handled maturely. I guess that's the
I think it is, though. I think Sony and Marvel, I think it's going to be a good marriage, and I think that
it's not a marriage, though. It's like, hey, you can have custody of the kid for a while, but I want him back later.
Yeah, but they're both have so much to gain.
Yeah?
Yeah, because, I mean, Sony's going to be making their more money. I mean, that's so important to think that their movie only made $250 million. I mean, that's nothing for freaking Spider-Man. That is nothing. And to think now that, Marvel, they're going to make money off of Spider-Man toys because they're going to back that. They're going to bring over, they're producing their Marvel brand and that skill of crafting to Sony. It's just it's a win-win situation.
I just don't want it to hurt the Marvel universe.
I don't think it will, because unless the spinoff, that's what I'm worried about. My biggest concern is the spinoff films, because Kevin Feige said that last article I read that he wasn't going to be producing the spinoff films. So they're going to pretty much let him, I think, come in and have creative control, even though they could pull that at any time. They're going to let him kind of do what he wants with that Spider-Man so they can make them money. Yeah. But if he's not helping with the spin-off films and we get that Mary Jane or that Aunt May spin-off, who gives a hell about that? You know what I'm saying? So if they go that route and he's not.
And then what about the Sony movies though too? That's the other thing. Is Sony still going to be doing their Sinister Six?
That's what they're talking. Yeah, it's up the air right now, so we don't know. So we're going to do another one of these when we find out more, and we'll talk about this. So this is a fun episode, man.
Yeah, it was.
So a lot of information. I'm excited. I can't wait to see Spidey on the big screen. Tell us your thoughts, your comments. Leave it down below. Right now we're on YouTube, we're on Twitter, we're on Tumblr, we're on Facebook. Man, we're almost 200 strong. So keep it going. We'll be back next week.
Yes.
And peace.